G'day, g'day. How you going? What do you know? They'll strike a light. G'day, g'day. And how you going? Just say g'day, 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 and you'll be right.
In today's prophecy update, there's several things to keep you updated or informed on what's going on. A report that came out how Iran is on the march to Israel's northern border. This report talked about how Iran not only has they created a foothold within Syria that only stands to grow stronger, but just 3 days after the incident that happened with Israel's direct confrontation with Iran and its northern border is this concern of this growing danger posed by Iran and their development of weapons, getting more of their military in the front lines in Syria and also within Lebanon. We do know from a French intelligence report that talks about how Iran has built 2 underground factories in the Shia areas in Lebanon, and also which is toward the north there. And there's also they've got these missiles that can go at least 300 kilometers, so it can reach deep within Israel. We've mentioned that in previous reports, but there's other reports that are talking about how Iran is trying to build more factories in the northern Sunni areas of Lebanon as well. Why? So they can have more weaponry so they can attack Israel. Again, this isn't anything new that we haven't heard before, but you're seeing more of this rhetoric, more intensity of this happening. And it's important to know the threats are real. It's just a matter of time before Iran does go in and attack Israel. We do know there's the Psalm 83 war that is going to happen at some point, and it's also the development of the Ezekiel 38 scenario with the Russia and Iranian in Syria so that they would come in and invade Israel at some point. So those pieces of the puzzle are getting closer and closer coming together. It's just a matter of time to see this happening. And another story dealing with Israel, a Christian drilling company strikes oil in northern Israel. Why is this interesting? Well, we've mentioned this in previous reports when they found other oil stuff. But this could be one of those spoils that the other countries want to invade Israel and wanting to take their spoil, as Ezekiel 38 talks about. So this is one of those other important pieces of the prophetic puzzle. And again, it's just recently that they're seeing this development happening. So you can see why these other countries are wanting to invade Israel. They want to take the spoils from oil to some of the other resources that Israel does have. Another interesting report, and again, we do talk about from time to time how there's earthquakes in various places. There was a 7.2 earthquake in south central Mexico, and this is one of those other reports that Jesus talks about there will be earthquakes in various places. And again, all around the world, we're seeing an escalation of the magnitude of earthquakes. This is just another case in point. Again, just 5 months ago, they had another disastrous earthquake like this magnitude. It was high up there in the Richter scale, but just one of those other things to keep in mind. You see the disaster that happening, it's a heartbreak for those people, but you're seeing more of the prophetic picture of Matthew 28 talking about the signs of the times. We're going to see more earthquakes in various places, the magnitude of earthquakes. And another scenario, this is interesting to see. Again, it's just a matter of seeing how more severe this epidemic is going to happen. In the U.S., the flu kills up to 4,000 Americans a week, causing 1 in 10 deaths. This influenza strand. And it's, again, we've had to deal with some of it here in Australia. There's some people that died, but I mean, imagine 4,000 people each week dying because of this influenza epidemic. And again, there's epidemics, there's diseases, there's pestilences. They're going to increase, and not surprising if some of these strands are created by government to create population control, to eventually start weeding people out. Not saying that this is that case, but it's easy for the governments to control people And this would be one of those ways to diminish the population. And that is an agenda that a lot of the global governments do have. And the Agenda 21, it's to eliminate some of the population. They won't flat out say it, but this is one of their ways in how they can control the people and kill off people as well. And the last thing worth noting, not necessarily on an end times prophetic, but you do see the wickedness and the evilness of this. But the shooting that took place the other day in Florida, as the U.S. mourns for its innocent young life, the senseless shooting. And again, the first thing that pops up in a lot of people's minds is, oh, we need gun control. This isn't about gun control. It's about mental illness. And you look at some of these mass shootings that take place and these problems and these situations, you'll look at the individuals behind it. In every single case of these mass shootings, it was also mental illness. Now, I'm not saying every mental illness, there's disasters and problems and stuff like that, but you see cases like this that you're going to have that. And again, people don't need automatic weapons and things like that, but this is one of those situations where there's a mass problem going on concerning mental illness around the world. Here in Australia, 1 in 5 are struggling with mental illness. So in a case like this, and you know who this individual was, there's a lot of problems with mental illness in this particular case. And again, he was a white supremacist as well, at least that was part of his background. But it's also demonic possession when it comes down to it. You know, you see just the evilness that's behind it all. But regardless of those sort of agendas, during times of tragedy, of loss, of grief, we need to respond in love and care and compassion and helping and practical needs, sharing the grace and comfort of Jesus Christ. You know, that's what needs to happen first and foremost. Instead of get on the bandwagon, well, if this, he didn't have weapons or this or that, if he didn't have that, there'd be other means in how he would do things. Okay, this is how they operate and work. But it's important to know that no matter how difficult the trials or the disappointing news or the situation may be, we need to understand that God is still on the throne. He hasn't moved off of it. He has everything under control. We may not understand all His ways, but we know that His sovereign will is best. There's things that He has in the works in the midst of tragedy, and how, again, when we're in glory, we'll be able to understand it all. Right now, our finite minds cannot understand it, but we still know He is in control and He is still sovereign no matter what. And so we need to continue to be watchful, alert, informed. We need to be the men and women of prayer. And if a disaster like that happened here, how would we respond? How can we share the love and grace of Jesus Christ? And may we have the courage and compassion to reach out. Whosoever needs to hear the gospel. Everyone needs to hear the gospel. Everyone needs to be ministered to. Everyone needs encouragement. And so we need to keep these families, the school, the community, the churches there that are responding to this tragedy as well. Whether it's there or any other place, we need to keep them up in prayer. Amen? And that's it for today's update.